Losing is what got us here. None of us feel good about it. This is, where we are. You are what your record is. You are what has happened, recently. But things can change quickly. Once we.
Knicks family was popping. The Losers Lounge, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a little while since we've been here. Welcome to the Losers Lounge. Tony, what's good, brother? How you feeling?
I was thinking the same thing, man. It feels like I know we missed a couple of Losers Lounge over the season, but this feel like the longest break. You know what I mean? This feel like the longest break. So
yeah,
glad to be back.
Yeah, no doubt. Knicks get a good win over the Toronto Raptors tonight. A much needed win over the Raptors. Emmanuel quickly, RJ Barrett back in town. You know what I'm saying? But the Knicks were just too much for him. You know what I mean? Too much for him. We're going to check out and see what the Toronto Raptors fans think about their basketball team, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go ahead and get this thing on the roll. So we started off, BBQ. Ain't it? Something has to change. And if you don't know, that's Barnes, Barrett, and Quickly. And that's the reason why you see the cover, thanks to Tony. BBQ, it's cooked. Barbecue chicken, ladies and gentlemen. BBQ. I mean, I don't know if that's a good name for them, to be honest with you.
I mean,
because if you're barbecue, that means you got cooked.
I mean, until you start doing the cooking, you know what I mean? Until you start doing the cooking, it's gonna be BBQ got cooked.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you gotta get hot. You gotta get hot to make really for it to stick in the other direction.
Yeah. What do you think about those three though? Do you think that's a solid young group to build with?
100%. 100%. I mean, if you're playing a long game, obviously, like we was just having a discussion about us trading Quickly, us trading Grimes, us trading Barrett, because these guys aren't in their prime yet. And if you look at the majority of our roster, or the majority of the guys who are in the rotation, is guys that are in their prime or nearing their prime, and these guys aren't ready yet to be considered in their prime.
Mm-hmm.
So long term, absolutely, you know what I mean. Nice young core, that you can add to and continue to build around. But obviously, yeah, they're not going to be winning anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a nice group. I think there might be a limit to the group.
I think they're better than their current record, right? I think they've dealt with. I was telling you earlier, like the comparison between them and Orlando. Orlando has been together already for about 3 years, building what they've become, right? They've overachieved some years, you know what I mean? Like they surprised some teams some years. So they're 2-3 years ahead of the Raptors.
Right.
Look at the Raptors in a year or two. And then even this year, they've dealt with injuries to their core three people, and RJ missed time for other reasons. You know what I mean? So they haven't even played together. Their core hasn't even played together many games yet. Right. So I just think they're behind schedule more so due to injuries, and give them a year or two. I think they're gonna be a nice team.
Okay. You think they kind of got the OKC type of
to a lesser degree, but yes.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But you know what I mean? They're in the beginning stages of that. The very beginning stages of that.
Yeah. I'm interested to see how they grow. Personally, I just don't know if RJ ends up being the guy that some people think. I think his role is going to be limited. His like who he is,
his upside.
upside, I think is a little limited. My opinion, you know, you know, yeah, we'll see.
I agree. I agree with that 100%. I don't think that their ceiling has RJ as the number one option. I
Okay.
think similar
Yeah.
to Cleveland in a sense. I think when Barnes clicks, and I think he has to be their number one guy. You know what I mean? To really for them to flourish.
Right.
Two-way guy, midway guy. He's a lot more efficient. You know what I mean? But RJ definitely has a role to where he could
Oh
fit
yeah.
in
Yeah.
and grow on that team.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. Delroy said this better not be the plan next year too. I mean, if you're trying to grow with this team, then that should be your plan, right? If you're trying to grow, you're like, okay, they're a young group. We feel like we got 3 solid guys to build around. Any 3 of those guys can get you 20 or 30 on any given night. Let's see how they develop together. Right? Because you kind of got the positions. You got the 1 and quickly, you got a 3 in RJ, and then you got a 4 that can post, take it outside, so on and so forth, and Scotty Barnes. You know what I mean? So you kind of got those 3 layers taken care of. Now you start to fill in the pieces and see how they develop and where they can go.
A couple things have to happen for them to kind of reach that OKC ceiling, or even floor. 2 things happen with OKC. Number 1, they got a surefire guy in Chet. At least most people thought he was surefire coming in. You know what I mean? And then they got a gem in Jay Williams. You know what I mean? Those 2 things, I think, catapulted OKC. So they have that opportunity though to kind of fill things out and get lucky in the draft. If they're bad enough, you get a guy like Cooper. You know what I mean? Like that might be the, you know what I mean, one good piece to add, and then they might need like a big man that fits their timeline, and then sky's the limit.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll it's gonna be interesting to see how they grow. You know what I'm saying? And then to see how Masai, he's been good at collecting talent and putting together a strong basketball team. You know what I'm saying? He's been good at it. So he knows what he's doing. I think Raptors fans should trust him. He definitely knows what he's doing. Another guy, Ona, said time to build around Boucher.
I got a question about him though.
Yeah.
What I know he's joking, but that a large sentiment in their chat was around playing him, and I want to say this is the second time. How many times we played the Raptors this year? Twice or 3 times?
I think this is the 3rd time.
Yeah, so this is the second time out of 3 times that his minutes came once the game was out of reach, but he comes in and plays well for them. And this is the second time I've heard their chat asking about him, why he doesn't play. And he has a tenure there. You know what I mean? I don't know if that's the reason why. Like they know who he is and what he's. But he always seems to have some good minutes against us. Like back when he played more, and now when it's garbage time. What's your thoughts on him as a player?
I mean, I think he's a decent role player. I mean, look, he's been in the league since 2017 and 18. He's 32 years old.
I didn't know that. I didn't know he was 32.
Building around that dude.
I didn't know. I didn't know he was 32. I mean, I never thought they should build around him, but I thought he was. I thought he might have been like 25.
Well, he came into the league at 25.
Ah.
Yeah. Yo, I'm looking at it on basketball.
I mean, that explains he's probably a candidate more. He shouldn't be on that team then. At this point of his career. Especially in his role at this point in his career, I would think he would want to be in a more established team. He'd probably get the same minutes, you know what I mean, on a contender or a playoff team. Then, oh wow, that's funny. 32?
Yeah, 32. Well, let's build around him. I mean, he's been through his prime. He's been through his prime.
I mean, you could argue he's at the very tail end. I won't
Okay.
But I mean, that doesn't say anything. That doesn't say much more either way. It actually probably sounds better to say his prime is over and this is who he is than to say he's still in it. So
right.
Jeez. I didn't know he was 32.
I didn't know he was either. I thought he was like 25 years old. Or something like that. But yeah, I guess, he came into the league, man, late. His best season was with the Raptors in 2020, 2021. He averaged 13.6 points, 6.7 rebounds per game, and almost 2 blocks per game.
Wow. He was on the championship team?
Let me see. Was that the championship year? I mean, he must have been on a championship.
Yeah, he had to be, right?
I think he was on a championship team. I don't remember what year was the championship year, but I'm pretty sure he was on a championship team.
It's got to have been 4 years ago.
Let's see.
5 years ago.
Well, yeah, 2018, 2019. That was his second season. He was on it, but he didn't play much. He only played like 2 minutes a game.
Yeah, but I think he had like a good playoff game or something in that run. Wow.
That's funny though.
32 years old.
That's funny. Told you, some fans just don't really pay attention. You know what I'm saying? Raptors said, I can't watch this team anymore. I've been patient for wins, but they prefer blowout losses.
I mean, like I said, man, they haven't played together very many games. That core three.
Yeah.
I don't think
they got to give it a little bit of time. I mean, this is only their second year. This is barely their second year together.
Where would you rank their core versus Detroit's core? Like you look at Detroit last year to this year, and then you look at, you know what I mean, and Detroit's growth from a historically bad year last year to this year. I could see, you know what I mean? I could see Toronto becoming a 500 or closer to 500 team. You know what I mean?
So let's see. Cade Cunningham, Jalen Duren. I mean, that's kind of their core right there because
and Ivy.
Jaden Ivey. Yeah. Jaden Ivey. But Jaden Ivey's out now. But yeah, Jaden Ivey. I mean, but look, they've done like a lot of teams in the league are doing. Well, I guess most teams with young players try to do it. San Antonio's doing it. The Raptors might want to try to take the same philosophy.
Surrounded by vets.
Surrounded with vets. Malik Beasley's on the team. Tobias Harris, Tim Hardaway Jr.
And you know what? That is the difference between them last year and this year. Last year, they were pawning off their vets. Right? You know what I mean? We got a couple of them.
Right.
Oh, this year, it's like, give me capable players around me, and K is like, I could, you know what I mean? I could make a drastic improvement.
Right.
Last year it was like I want to see what we got in these guys from these, and now it's like, all right, let me surround them with adequate veteran presence that don't need to be the lead guys either.
Right. And
It's
now
like veteran role players.
Yeah, now they're 19-18 in the 8th seed, one game above 500. They've won 5 straight. And they're like a half game behind the Pacers for that 6th spot. You know, definitely showing some growth.
And I don't know where would be harder. Like, what do you think would be a harder destination to attract free agents, Detroit or Toronto? Like, I still
Toronto.
would argue. You think Toronto?
I think Toronto, because I think
It's
Detroit
out the country.
has a history.
Okay.
Right, they have you got Isaiah Thomas. They won championship. Then you got the Chauncey Billups era with those guys, Ben Wallace and them dudes, where they won a championship. Won 2 championships.
Mm-hmm.
2 championships, right? So I think they have a little bit more history in the league.
I still think that's a tough.
Toronto's a better city.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, as far as attracting a free agent, you know what I mean? Like, both of them is it's hard to fit. You know what I mean? It's figured like, I'm gonna go to Toronto. Right. I'm gonna go to Detroit. So that's what I mean. Like, I think they kind of I think it's tougher than you answered that pretty quick. You know what I mean? I'm not saying you're wrong, but I think it's a tougher decision.
It might be a tougher decision, but I think people, one, it's out the country, Toronto, and
that's
Detroit
what I hear more.
Detroit just has a better history in the league.
That's what I hear more. The hassle of the in and out for the players they complain about. But Toronto got the most international players in the league, so yeah, I mean,
and from everything that I hear, it's a dope city. I've never been there, but I hear it's a pretty dope city, and it's just like an hour from Buffalo.
Yeah,
so it's not like it's that far outside of the United States. You know what I mean?
They might be able to fill their team with some Canadians and
right,
and do it right that way.
I hear it's a dope city though. That is really nice there. I do want to go at some sometime. Delroy said, "What if we kept OG and traded Pascal to New York for RJ and IQ?" That wasn't gonna happen because we didn't want Pascal,
especially not next to Randall.
Right, we didn't want Pascal next to Randall.
I mean, there were some people, some Knicks fans that wanted to trade Randall for Siakam.
Yeah. There was.
I remember those guys, but we wasn't adding him to Randall at the time. So, nope, it wasn't gonna happen.
Yeah, that wasn't gonna happen.
Nice dream though.
Scotty Barnes, RJ Barrett, OG, and IQ. Wow, would be scary.
It's a nice dream.
Yeah, nice dream. That wasn't gonna happen though. That wasn't gonna happen at all. Not at all. I mean, OG's better than Barrett, Jago.
We knew that.
You got OG being better than Barrett? I do. I look at the way he plays. I look at everything. Obviously people look at the numbers, but yeah, OG's better than Barrett.
I was gonna respond and ask OG over Barrett and quickly ? Because that, you know what I mean? That was my issue, honestly, when the trade initially happened. I keep it real. I was uptight of the two of them going. Yeah. You know what I mean? As opposed to like just one of them and a package surrounding them.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely think OG is better than RJ. Or at least better for us. Let's say that. Rico States said, please visit Toronto. It's nice there. I plan to. One of these.
Yeah, me too.
At some time. I plan to.
Got my passport last year, so I'm definitely be back and forth to Canada now.
Yeah, D. Cooler said it's probably more to do in Toronto than Detroit. I agree. Probably way more to do in Toronto than Detroit.
It's probably more incentives in Toronto than Detroit.
Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm definitely going to visit Toronto. Matter of fact, I might make that one of my goals for this year to visit Toronto.
We got one more game then?
Maybe we do. I don't know.
Let's figure that out,
Maybe
Sim.
we do. Because I definitely want to go to Toronto. I'm gonna check it out.
I'll take a road trip with you if we go to a game.
I mean, I got my passport is still good for another year. You know what I mean? It's good for another year. I'm definitely down. Let me see. I'm looking at the schedule now. Let's see. Where are we right now? We just played the Raptors. Whoa, we play. Oh no, hold up. No, that's not the Raptors. We just played the Raptors. So, do we play them in Toronto again? Nah, we don't. We don't play them again this year.
All right, now
Let's set it up.
make it next year.
Let's set it up for next year.
Yeah, now we could include some. I mean, we could do a whole trip, MBK trip.
For real. We got to set it up for next year. Oh, wait a minute. February 4th. Oh, February 4th. Dang, that's kind of around the corner.
Too quick. Yeah, that's too quick.
That's around the corner.
I might be moving already.
It's around the corner. Man. All right. Well, you know, we'll figure it out. We'll set it up. We'll figure it out. Definitely figure it out. SBFO Triple E said, OG never got these fouls in Toronto. Talk about how biased the refs are against us.
Maybe he's playing better.
Maybe he's playing better. Maybe he's more aggressive now. He's definitely more aggressive now, I think. You know what I mean? I mean, when he came to us, we wanted him to be more aggressive, but he's become more aggressive in the score, getting shots off, and his offensive game is growing too.
Yeah, in the simple time he's been here, so he's obviously grown since he's been there.
Yeah, you know, so you know, I mean, he's getting better. He's more aggressive. I don't know what you want, SB4. Should have used Boucher earlier.
It's another one.
In support of Boucher. I don't know. I mean, maybe I don't know. There's something that the coach don't like. It's always something that the coach don't like about certain players. It's always going to be. You know what I mean? Always going to be. La said, I need to see more Walter, less Grady. We cannot continue to help you out on the defensive end.
I'm surprised he's a starter for them, to be honest. And the Knicks definitely sort him out anytime they put him back in the game.
Right.
He was like, go to him.
Right. And if I'm the players, I'm calling him by his first name. Right. I'm calling him Grady. You know what I mean?
I mean, it let you piss me off. Yo, why you can't hit a shot? You know what I mean?
Right. Yo, I mean, because ain't no way. I mean, I'm cool with saying I got Grady.
All right. As the opposing player, yeah.
As the opposing player, right? Ain't no way I'm running down the court. I got Dick. You know what I'm saying? Nah, I got Grady. Ain't no way. I'm pretty sure throughout the league, it's a joke throughout the league. Gotta be.
Oh, Dick is on fire.
That Dick is burning up. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, yeah, on the court, there's a lot of that funny talk on. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Got to be. Yeah. Oh man. Has to be. That's crazy. Dale said, not even sure what to make of this anymore. Make of this team anymore. Man, they just gotta calm down.
Figure out who you drafting.
Right. Calm down. Let the team, you know, let the team let the team grow a little bit. See what they just won a championship not too long ago. You know what I'm saying? Be easy. See what Masai Ujiri can do. You know what I mean? What's to say that Jersey collab with Black from Orlando, Dick was too funny. Oh God.
The jersey swap. Yeah. It just showed the immaturity, but at the same time, it went viral, so it did what it was supposed to do.
Right. Oh my gosh.
How do you feel about that as a coach? Like, do you chalk it up as funny games, or do you look at your player as immature and you know what I mean?
At some point you gotta let them have some fun, right? You know what I mean? I think you gotta let them have some fun a little bit. If it's always like that, if it's always just, oh, why would you make that? As long as they're players that are working hard,
Yeah,
trying to get better, you have no questions about their work ethic and all that. You know what I mean? I think you just chalk it up to, they're having a little bit of fun. You know what I mean?
agree.
I
think because of their ages, I let it go. I wouldn't have scolded them either way, like publicly or privately. You know what I mean? But I'm looking at it like you said, how does he work? What's his work ethic?
Yeah.
Because if the work ethic is in question, but you had time that obviously you pre-thought about this. One of the two of them pre-thought about it.
Somebody
brought it to the other one, like, yo, let's do. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
somebody thought about it.
Now I'm looking at it funny if your work ethic ain't up to par, but you got time to plan this out. Like
exactly.
You wasn't looking at the playbook. Like he studied that.
Right. You got time to plan this out, but you're doing, this type of stuff. Yeah. Then I'm definitely gonna look at you funny. You know what I mean? But for the most part, you know what I mean? I'm just, what are you gonna do? They young kids. Both of them gonna have children one day. You know what I'm saying? And they're gonna be able to show it to them like, look at this. Look at this. And everyone's trying to get some kind of name somehow, some way in the league. I knew a guy, and his last name was Dix. All right. And so I'm not gonna say his first name, but every time that he would, let's say his name was Gerald, right?
Mm-hmm.
Every time that he would introduce himself, he'd be like, "Hello, my name is Gerald Dix, D-I-X."
X, yeah, yep.
Because he didn't want, he didn't want to get teased over his name. You know what I mean? He didn't want to get teased over it, so that's how he would introduce himself. I always thought it was funny.
Hey, you gotta let him know off the rip. Those jokes do not apply to me.
You know what I'm saying? Nah, I mean, I dig it though. Right? It was funny, and I was always like, "Yo, man, do you really get that many jokes?" And I guess when he was in high school, he got mad jokes about it all the time. You know what I'm saying? So it made him, just made him kind of self-aware about it.
I had a homegirl last name Diaz, and it was fitting.
Oh man, that's funny. For those who have never seen, I'm pretty sure everybody in here has seen it. You know what I'm saying? But for those who have never seen it, there you go. There you go, right there.
And Grady's smile is a little too big. That was what made it real creepy. Like,
Yeah,
I think it was probably his idea. I'm gonna go with it
like
was
Brady's idea.
Grady's idea.
Yeah.
Why it came across his brain, I don't know. But like
Now,
what
now,
he was
now
what
that's
he was
the question. Whoever came up with it, why did that come across your brain?
like,
You know what I'm saying? Why did that come across? You know, why was you thinking about that?
yeah, what was you doing when you came up with that idea? I don't know, but it's probably on the internet
And
watching something.
if I'm Grady, and let's say his girlfriend came up with it, and he got a white girlfriend, I'd be like, yo, wait a minute, hold on. Like, what you trying to say? What's going on here? You know what I'm saying? For real, that's funny.
I wonder if he asked Derek White first. Derek White's like, yo, I'm trying to win a championship. I ain't trying to play these games right. You know what I mean?
You know what I'm saying? Right. Yeah, that's crazy. I don't know. People are crazy. Anyway. Last but not least, save this one for last, Tony. Don't know why New York starters are still playing.
Yeah. This is not the first losers lounge that this question has been put up there.
Right. It was what? Knicks up 20-something with maybe 2 minutes left. And I think that's when a timeout was called. I think Jericho Sims had already entered the game for Cat.
Mm-hmm.
Timeout was called, and then the other guys were coming in for Brunson and Bridges and OG or something like that.
The only thing I'm gonna say is, I mean, I just said it like this: when opposing teams, do you think the narrative, and I'm using that word loosely, but do you think the narrative has spread outside of the fan base? Or again, like, is this merit of opposing teams fans watching and legitimately, you know what I mean? Are they gaslighting when they put this in the comments, or are they asking a legitimate question as a viewing fan of the opposing team?
I think it's something that's spread around the league. I think it's both, right? I think they're looking at it like, yo, why they still playing their starters? They're blowing us out. And then also in the same breath, knowing that Tibbs plays his starters down to the last 2 minutes, like, why is this guy still playing? Just knowing what's spread out across the league, his reputation, So I think it's both.
Sometimes I feel like they're gaslighting. You know what I mean?
Sometimes they're doing that. Yeah, of course. Right. But fans know the reputation around the league. Fans know.
And again, I know your stance on it, but do you think it's warranted or overstated?
Now, about him playing starters or key players down the stretch of a game, I think he clearly does that. You know what I mean? Now, about the minutes per game of players, it doesn't bother me. Because I personally just don't think we have that deep of a bench. And I know just from coaching, when you look down the bench, you're like, I'm not putting him in the game. So I already know what's about to happen. We can't see everything that the coaches can see. The reason why we can't see everything that the coaches can see is because we don't know what the coach is teaching the players, right? We don't know what the schemes are. We don't know what the rotations are. We don't know all of those things. It's just like when you watch like a live play with live actors. They mess up, but you don't know that they messed up. because you don't know what was supposed to happen.
Mhm.
You just know what happened, and it looked like it was normal.
Well, let's preference that. The good performers, you don't know that they messed up. You know what I mean? The good ones, you know what I mean? This sometimes, you know what I mean, a mess up is clear, you know what I mean? But the good ones know how to improvise, keep the show moving, and not miss a beat.
Right.
And even the co-star knows how to pick up on the mistake, but not react and keep the show going. I agree though.
But and there are things that people don't even see, like this guy was supposed to, like, the ball handler dribbled to the right wing, and this guy was supposed to cut, right? And some players, they stand there, they forgot to cut, and they do it every time. We don't notice it. We think, yo, why is he dribbling over towards him? You see he's standing right there, but that dude was supposed to cut. Little things like that we don't see, that the coaches see and the players know. You know what I'm saying? A defensive rotation that a player was supposed to be, and you see players all the time like, yo, that was your job right there, because they worked on a scheme. And so a lot of times when players aren't getting minutes, it's because of those things right there that we don't see, that causes them not to get minutes, because then it messes up the continuity of the team. I had a player that I coached, and he came to me when he was a sophomore. He was dedicated, right? He walked like 3 miles just to come to the first tryout, right? And you know, he made the team. He didn't make he couldn't make his high school team because his high school team was really, really good, right? And he was good enough to make it. Let's put it like this: he was good enough to make it, but his attitude kind of kept him off the team, right? So when he came to me for travel ball, we were playing. You know, I was coaching him, and you know, he'd be in practice. He could beat players one-on-one. He worked hard. He played great defense, but he did not know where to be on the floor. You know what I'm saying? We would have things set. He would be froze. You know, just be ready to catch the ball and shoot. And he could knock it down. Right. But he didn't know where to be. And he would, coach, how come I'm not playing more? I'm like, Keon, you don't know where to be on the floor. When you learn where to be and where to move, where to cut, when to cut, you'll play. But right now, you don't know those things. You know what I'm saying? And so you're stalling the rest of the team. You know, and eventually, you know, with more practice, you know, throw him out a few minutes here, a few minutes there, and you know, he would get it. And then I'm the type of coach to build confidence. I don't like to take players out when they do something wrong, because I think that hurts their confidence. Right. So when a player is playing well, I pull them out the game. Now I pull them out the game when their confidence is high. They might be mad at me, but their confidence is high. Right. So they're like, man, coach pulled me out. I was cooking. You know, like certain players that have to develop. You know, if I put in a player that doesn't play much and they're making a few mistakes, I try to keep them in as long as I can till they make a good play, and then pull them out after they made a good play, right? Because it helps to build their confidence. You know, so like with him, it was kind of like that. You know, he playing little spurts. There were games where he didn't play at all, but he playing little spurts. If we had a bunch of people that's not there, then he'd have to play. You know what I mean? But eventually he came around. He ended up going to college and playing ball too. You know what I'm saying? But he had to know where to be. And there's just things that go on the court that from the naked eye, you're not going to see. You know, you just don't see it. You're muted, Tony.
You mentioned the cutting. A prime example of, you know, let's use your example of Jericho Sims was supposed to cut here. Him not cutting allowed Brunson to get double team.
Right.
Brunson turns the ball over. We're all looking at the screen like, oh, Brunson, what kind of turnover is that? But we don't even notice that, we don't know that the play was designed for Sims to cut. Him not cutting allowed his guy to be a threat on the double team. And right. I mean, so, you're right.
Yeah, you know. Curtis D. Young said, if the starters get off to a slow start in the first few minutes of the game, they get the benefit of still playing at least 20 more minutes to make up. If the bench have a slow start, that's it. Um, Everything is not equal in the world of basketball. That's that. Everything is not equal. Some people are gonna have a short leash. You know what I mean? You mess up, oh nah, it's time to go. You know what I'm saying? Because you're gonna and you as a coach, you are going to live with more mistakes from the people that you trust than the players that you don't trust yet.
I think a better argument, but Tibbs, I will say, is getting better at is uh a lower or lesser rotation guy is hot and he may still be pulled at his normal rotation time.
Mm-hmm.
But even with that, I think Tibbs has gotten better at in recognizing, oh, Deuce is hot tonight. Let me extend his minutes. Cam is playing well tonight. Let me give him a couple extra minutes. So I think he can get better, but I do acknowledge and recognize that he does pull guys.
Yeah.
You know, whether they're hot or not, especially in the second unit guys. So
yeah, he's definitely gotten better at that. You know, the one thing about Tibbs is he is very, like, you know, people say he's rigid. He is very rigid, right? Players know when they're ready to go, when they're going in the game and when they're coming out. You know what I'm saying? He has his rotation patterns, and I think that's how the mind of Tom Thibodeau works. You know what I'm saying? Tom Thibodeau is probably a very patterned person. You know what I mean? And does things off a habit. He probably, you know, gets up at the same time, brushes his teeth at the same time, combs his hair combs the little bit of hair he got at the same time. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like, he probably does all of these things at the same time every day. You know, he's just a habitual person. And so I think having those substitution patterns helps him to strategize. You know what I mean? Some coaches go off of the feel of the game and what they need in the game. Some coaches go off of, here's my pattern. You know.
So I'm dying because hair is singular and plural. So when you said it, I heard it singular.
Right. One hair. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, some coaches go off the feel of the game. You know, and what's needed on the court. And some coaches go off of patterns, you know, and then you know, veer from the pattern just a little bit here and there.
And I'm sure it's a lot easier to play for what you call it, rigid coach than a sporadic coach where you don't where you don't know what, you know what I mean, what is going to be asked of you night in, night out, what my role is night in, night out, what my time is, you know what I mean? So it's probably a lot easier for players to, hey, if I get in, I know what I got to do. I might not get in, but if I do, I know exactly what you know what I mean, what my role is, as opposed to the role changing night in, night out. The play,
playing for someone who goes by the feel of the game, it just might not be, you just might not fit in the game that night, and so I'm kind of a coach that goes by the feel of the game, you know, and I've tried to have like a patterned substitution pattern. It doesn't work for me because I see something going on in the game, and then it's time for a certain player to come in. I'm like, wait a minute. Not right now. This ain't the time. Like, he's slow. The game is fast, you know, or something like that. You know, now if I had all like a 10-player rotation of all guys or all ladies that played the way I want them to play, then it'd be easier to do a pattern, you know, a substitution pattern, because I'm not worried about who I put in the game.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I know they're all gonna get it, but when, you know, if for me, if I only got 8 players, you know, I kind of got to go off the feel of the game. And I have one lady who she works really hard defensively and she hustles a lot, but she's not good laterally. So someone can shake her out of her sneakers real quick. You know what I'm saying? And she'll hustle and try to get back. You know what I'm saying? But when we're playing man, it would seem like she's a good man-to-man player. But because she's not good at lateral movement and she hasn't played basketball that long, so she doesn't have the basketball IQ to know where the player is going or to give him a little bit of space, she can get shook really easy, although she's a good defender. She plays better in the zone. So when we're playing man, I'm scared to put her out there on the floor. You know what I'm saying? Because she's gonna get shook. So, depending on who we're playing, her playing time might be little. If we're playing a team of guards that can shake and bake, she's probably not playing that much unless we're playing a zone. So yeah, things kind of go for me, the feel of the game. How does the game feel right now? And who would fit in this type of basketball game? Tibbs goes off of patterns. Here's my substitution pattern, and I'm not breaking from it. I don't care if Brunson got 60 points in the first quarter. He's coming out with 3 minutes left in the first or whatever the time is. Kind of what he does. Yeah. East Blue Drew said, Sam, I know you got one player on your bench. Can at least give you 5 minutes. I mean, yeah.
Tonight. I don't know about next game.
I got players on my bench that can at least give me 5 minutes. But there's some players where it might be a player or two that just don't get that much minutes because the game ain't suited for them that night. And their parents just got to be mad. Don't care. Trust me, I've had plenty of parents come up and talk to me like, we should be, my daughter should be playing because da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Like, well, you don't know what your daughter does in practice. You ain't there in practice when she ain't running hard. You ain't there in practice when, we're telling her to do left-hand layups and she keeps doing right-hand layups or she's not hitting the rotations right. You ain't there for all of that. All your daughter says is, I work just hard just like everybody else. Working hard don't always get it. So just saying. I've had parents approach me after the game, and all I can tell them is, it's a competitive game. I got to play who I think is going to help us win the basketball game. That's all I can tell them. Like, if she keeps working, she'll play. But right now, this is what it is. But I got a rule though. I'm like, I got a rule that first of all, I tell them, I ask the parents before the season starts for them not to address me. Have your daughter address me. If your daughter's worried about playing time, have your daughter talk to me. She knows what she does or does not do in practice. She knows what her strengths are. She knows what her weaknesses are because we talk about all of those things. She knows what it is and she knows why she's not playing. You don't come talk to me unless it's like something very serious. Then of course, but playing time, no, have your daughter talk to me about playing time. We'll deal with that.
I like that rule.
And if you have to talk to me about something, don't come talk to me after the game because emotions are high after the basketball game. You know what I'm saying? Wait till the next day and then let's have a conversation. Yep.
It's a good show, man. It's pardon me. It's great to be back. It's great to be back, man.
Yeah, I feel you. Yeah. And I got some work to do. I got about 2 hours worth of work to do, so I'm gonna go knock that out.
No doubt, man. I gotta get up early. Look at some apartments and houses and stuff.
Yeah,
so.
I feel you. Yeah. Knicks 100. Sometimes parents be trying to snap on me. You know what I'm saying? They be trying to snap on me until 2 years ago, we won a championship. Last season, we won 2 championships. Last season, we had a young team struggle. This year, we started off struggling, but we just won we played in the Governors Challenge, biggest tournament in the nation, and we won our division. We won the championship in our division. So we'll see if we win our league. If we can, I think we can, but we got a tough league this year, so we'll see what we can do. You know, I mean, my philosophy has worked so far. We'll see if it continues. See what's up. You know, we've we won our first league championship in 19 years 2 years ago, and we had never won the state championship for our school. So in our division, so you know that's that was a good feat, and this is our first year entering the Governors Challenge, and we won it. So you know what I mean. Philosophies work, hanging banners,
stuff to build on.
Exactly. Can't ask for no more than that.
I'm sure them girls gonna remember that. You know
right.
what I mean? Throughout their life.
Right. So we'll see if it continues. I'll be tough on. I'll make my girls. They be running like crazy. Some of y'all come get in my girls' practice. You be like, man, you killing them. But we press the whole game, so they gotta be in shape. And we only got 8 players. They gotta be in shape because we be pressing the entire game. We make teams. Even when we lose a game, afterwards, they're breathing hard, laying on the floor. They're like, yo, I don't want to play them again. Because we make it tough the entire game. We just press. Yeah. Anyway, we out of here, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate your time. And is Blue Jewel? Yeah, I definitely run zone. No doubt about it. All kinds of zones. Trapping all over the place. Nobody ever knows what kind of defense we running. If we score the basketball, we press in a zone press. If we miss, we're back to back. We're back in man. I mean, we switch defenses like 50 times a game. Nobody knows what we're doing. Confuse the heck out of teams. We out.
Losing is what got us here. None of us feel good about it. This is, where we are. You are what your record is. You are what has happened, recently. But things can change quickly. Once we losing